Flosstube friends. My name is Melanie, and this is my Flosstube channel. This is where I share all of my stitchy passion and connect with people like you guys in the community, which is my favorite part about Flosstube. So, how have you been? I am going to go through the agenda today. I have a lot to share. First of all, we're going to do the remaining 14 projects I had. I decided to do a WIP day in May. And so all 31 days in May, I worked one day, whatever stitching time I had that day. You know, sometimes it was an hour, sometimes it was 30 minutes, whatever it was. I worked on one of my WIPs. And the idea was I wanted to touch as many of them as I could. And I almost touched them all because I think I have around 35. So by doing 31, I pretty much almost got to everything. So I'm going to share each of those with you, which is fun. Then I'm going to go over our giveaway winner. I'm going to show you some pictures of my garden. I mentioned that last time and a lot of you were interested, so I'll show you the progress on all my flowers here in Michigan. And then we'll do life updates and the happy card. So hopefully that'll help you. You can move around in the video, you know, back and forth, whatever part you're interested in. So let's get to it. 31 WIPs in May. I had a lot of fun with this. I said the same thing that I'm going to say this time in my last video. It reiterated to me how much I love them. And sometimes when I think about stitching a WIP, like, nah, I don't really feel like picking that one up. But this forced me to just put it on my hoop and put it on my stand. And once I got going, I was like, I do love this. So I like doing this exercise. I think I'll probably do the exact same thing again next May. I've been limiting myself to starts this year. I think I've only started Hester's special delivery and then my stamp for each month. So that's been good. That's been good for me, and I'm riding the WIP love wave. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna flip these. Well, you know what? I'll leave it just like this. So the first one is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. This is such a beautiful pattern. I've seen so many people stitch it. I love the red pear and the house in the middle. That's my favorite Weeks Dye Works color. And that bird, so beautiful. So this was one for some reason when I think about stitching it, I'm like, oh, it's a huge project, but I loved every minute of it. So I am stitching this one on 32 count fog by Picture This Plus. Let me pull out my board so I can put this behind them. And this is where I got to. So I actually made a little bit of backward progress on this one, but good. I mean, progress all the same. It had to happen all the same. I found out when I started to do this pear on this third plant here, you can see where I had pulled the stitches out there. I had to do some frogging. I found out I was like maybe it was one stitch over. And so, you know me, I couldn't just fudge it. I was like, if I do that, it's gonna be, everything going down the line is gonna be off. So I decided to just pull it out, and I ended up pulling out that leaf and then just focusing on this pear. But this is such a beautiful piece. It reminds me a lot of My Home in the Garden by Liz Matthews, which is another one of my WIPs. I like the individual plant motifs, like the individual flowers. It's really fun to work on, and the colors are so pretty for each one of them. So I had a lot of fun with that one. Okay, next is, I'm going to insert a picture. This is the advent calendar I'm working on with my sister by Crochete a Go-Go. I don't know, I'm not Italian, but let me insert a picture of it here. We started this together on a sister weekend. We were watching Flosstube, and I can't remember who put it up on their Flosstube now. It was ages ago. But we saw it, we ran off, we got the fabric, we got the patterns, and we just ran with it. So Melissa, this no-day stitcher, who is my sister, she's much farther along than I am. But here is where I got to this time. I am stitching this 2/2, and this is 36 count raw linen. So I finished up, let's see, I think I had a little bit to finish up on the gingerbread house. I think I finished up a little there, and then I moved on to this motif, which is the cat and the mouse and the sled. So that was fun. This is another one, like it's a each one's its own individual cross stitch, right? Like it's almost like you could make ornaments out of all of these, which would be an absolutely fantastic way to do it. But yeah, I love the colors in it. I love it's like a more muted green palette than I'm used to. Melissa's doing hers more in the bright green, so I kept mine with the muted, and I like the way it's coming together. This one is a lot of fun to work on. Lot to go on that one. But hopefully you're stitching on it, Melissa, because you always inspire me when you get ahead on these projects. Okay, next, United We Stand. This is such a beautiful pattern. This is by Teresa Kogut. I printed this as a PDF from her website. I love this. I think I did pick this up like 2 years ago on 4th of July. I think this embodies everything about 4th of July and the unity and love for our country. So I thought that was beautiful. Now, I changed mine around a bit. I changed the colors a little bit. So I'm stitching mine on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. I changed the colors a little bit from the DMC, beautiful as is. I've seen many people stitch it as is. I gave the girl brown hair like myself, and then I changed their dresses. That's really where I just added some fancy floss in. And here is where I got to. So you can see how much dress I have left to go. Last time I had made my way all the way down here, and these are very tall women. And yeah, but it's not hard stitching, right? It's fun. You just can just sit there with the, if you enjoy the rhythm of the stitching, and that's kind of like a meditative, relaxing thing. This is one of those pieces that once you just do the outline, you can just go and go and go. So the girl's dress over here is in blue corn, and this color I believe is Cayenne, Weeks Dye Works Cayenne. And I like that it added a little depth, especially with the length of the dresses and just all being a solid color. I thought adding in the fancy floss would be a nice touch. Isn't that so sweet? I love the little bird on her head. So that was a lot of fun, and I didn't want to put that one down either. Okay, next, Matt was very happy when he saw me stitching on this. Matt is my boyfriend, and he is a huge Cubs fan, has been all his life. The Cubs are my National League team. I've always been a Tigers fan, American League, but I will say I love the Cubs as my #1 National League team. And I found this on Etsy. It's by www.stitcheruniverse.com. And when you purchase the pattern, you could do it 75 by 75. There was a 150 by 150, and I think a 200 by 200. So I chose the 75 by 75. He wanted kind of like a little 8 by 8 Cubs logo for his office, which I thought was really sweet. So I'm stitching this on 32 count white, 2/2. And here's where I got to. So this is another fun one with black stitching. I came up here, last time I had stitched it, I did the blue. So I came up here and did a bunch more here, and then I started to outline so that the next time I pick it up, I can just fill in. But really fun. We changed the colors. If you're interested in the floss colors that I use, let me know. We changed them a little bit from what the pattern had. It was kind of a fun exercise, laying out the DMC and seeing if he agreed with me about which was the closest color. And he did, so that was good. So we're liking how it's turning out. I think it looks really representative of the logo. Okay. Next, I'm also going to insert a picture of this one here. This is, I call it Wander. This is by 2x2 Stitch Art on Etsy. It's a PDF download. I love this one, and I've mentioned it several times. The first time I stitched it, I was about halfway, and I had made a mistake, and I was using my seam ripper, and I cut the fabric. And I probably could have like done some type of repair, thinking back, but I love this pattern so much, and I wanted it to look, really nice. And so I just restarted. So this is my second time around on what I call Wander. And here it is. I'm stitching it on 32 count white, 2/2. And there's only like 4 DMC colors in this, but isn't it fabulous? like the swirls of color. I just think it looks like the summer sky. I don't know why this one gives me such a summery vibe. I love to stitch on it in the summer, and I think it's just because in the summer I spend more time sitting outside around campfires, looking up at the stars. I just love this one so much. And this one calls for, so what you're looking at now is the words aren't even filled in. This is all just the white Aida, or the white fabric showing through. I'm still debating if I should fill it in with white thread because I think it looks so good just as it is. What do you think? What would you do? Tell me your opinion. I kind of feel like I want to because it might, like, you know, puff it up and make the letters look a little more pronounced, but at the same time it just looks stunning as is. So I've got to make a decision on that one. Tell me your opinion. What would you do? Okay, next, my home in the garden. And you guys are gonna smack me right through the phone. I know, but this is by Liz Matthews. I started stitching this with Nikki Noodle and Betsy Klager, who are Flosstubers. Go check them out. This was a stitch along for Nikki's birthday, and both of them are done. They're done. They're super stitchers. I am lagging behind. I absolutely love this. I am a gardener. I love flowers. I love gardening perennials. I've really gotten into it over the years. I'll show you some pictures of my garden at the end. I just find it incredibly amazing how you can take this tiny little seed and plant it and it becomes this beautiful flower every single year after year. I just am fascinated by it. So when I started this one, I did not have any 32 count white fabric in my stash. And so I started it on this, I think this is like a smoky white or an antique white. And I think I'm gonna restart it. I know, I can hear Betsy screaming at me. I think I'm gonna restart it because I really think this is gonna look better on a bright, clean white. The colors are just so vibrant, and I love this pattern so much. I mean, if it was a pattern I was kind of like on the fence about, I don't think I would, but I think I've made up my mind that I'm gonna restart this. So anyway, I did do some stitching on it during this process. Not a ton. I came over here and I put in these two little, I think they're fireflies or dragonflies, and then I added a bunch of this blue border. So I haven't gotten that far, and I don't think like the smoky white looks bad. I really don't think it looks bad. The other thing is I only had a piece that would give me a 1-inch border, so I ended up sewing some scrap fabric onto the sides. So because of those two reasons, I think I'm gonna restart this on a pure white, but I do love this one. This is a conversion that Nikki did. We didn't do the silks. We did fancy floss, cotton floss. There might be a couple DMCs in there, but she did a conversion. She shared it with me, and I'm using, I think, about 90% of her conversion. There was a few that I changed myself, but so beautiful. Such a beautiful pattern. This is our funny, that's our funny needle minder that I got for the two of them. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that one, but I think the next time you see it, it's gonna be a restart. Okay, next. This is Harvest Time by the Prairie Schooler. I'm doing this top one up here, which is just this really pretty fall scene. I love all the trees up at the top. I love the pumpkins and the farmer's cart. And I'm a sucker for houses, right? I always love building a house. So I saw Brenda, the handwork maniac, stitching this one, and it inspired me, and I started it. And of course, it's all DMC, which is great. I had a lot of it in my stash. So mine is on, again, 32 count white, and it's 2/2. And this is where I got to. So I worked on finishing up this farmer, which was a little bit finicky, right? You know, 2-3 stitches for his face, 2-3 stitches for his arms. I had been avoiding it, so I just got that done. And then I started working on this horse. So the last time I only had the tail, so I finished up a bit of that horse. And again, it just started my passion for it. It just reminded me why I started it. I'm really looking forward to stitching it. I'm a super seasonal stitcher, so I think I'll probably stitch on it again in the fall. But I do love it. And it reminded me that I love it, which is the point. Okay, next. Stitching in quilt. This is a stitch along I'm doing with Amanda, the Alba Stitcher. Hi, Amanda. She is my stitchy friend in Scotland. She has an amazing Flosstube. Go check her out. This is by Cure E Butacure, I think. And it's Stitching in Quilt. I love this so much. I think that little girl stitching away at top is so sweet. I love the pinks. The colors in this just draw me to it. That little house, I love it so much. So I am stitching mine on 32 count American Chestnut. And I did a little bit of jumping around on this one. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to get down to that house so bad. So I thought, what the heck? I'm only going to stitch on it for one day. So I counted down with a few of the little blue smoke puffs coming up from the house. And I started working on the roof. I just love the colors in this. Again, DMC. I love the colors. I love the little design in the roof there. The little X's in the roof. Just little touches like that. They add so much. So I'm looking forward to getting back to this one. Amanda is doing Halloween in quilt, and there's several of them. Spring in quilt, summer in quilt. I'd love to do them all, but you know how that goes. We only have so much stitching time. Okay, next. This is a story. This has been a story for 3, 4, I'm losing track of the years. I started stitching this in 2017. So yeah, this is Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate. I absolutely love this design. I think it's beautiful. Let me see if I can get, there we go. I think it's beautiful. I was stitching away on this, determined to finish it, got so much accomplished. And then I thought, you know, I'm going to start doing the border. And when I started doing the border, I realized I was off by 2 stitches. And by being off, let me show you what I mean. So I am stitching this on a 28 count clay Jobelin. This is how far I got. Isn't it just gorgeous? My sister finished this. She has a picture of it on her Instagram. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think I only have like 2 or 3 more blocks down here. But as you can see, when I came up here and I started doing the counting, I was 2 stitches off from the top. So all of this is good. All of this was aligned. But when I started this motif down here, I was off from the top. So I spent my time frogging this, which again is progress because it has to come out in order to align it. So I just spent, I think probably I only had like 45 minutes that evening, and I just spent time taking it out, but I am not giving up on this one. I'm going to continue to frog, and then I can get back to the fun of stitching because I just think this is beautiful. Melissa finished hers on an old piece of fence, like picket fence. It's so beautiful. So every Halloween when she brings it out, I'm like, oh, I need to work on it. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, next is the Bee Skep, and this is by Blackbird Designs, and it's in the Agnes Platts Strawberry Sampler. It's this one up top here. I love this one. I think I saw Nikki Noodle stitch this one. The colors in the house I just think are so pretty. I am stitching mine. Oops, I grabbed a couple of them here. I am stitching mine on 32 count Ren by Picture This Plus. 2/2. And this is the progress I made. So I went to town on bricks. I started adding more bricks into the roof. I did a couple of bricks in the house. Isn't that just a beautiful design? How those bricks with just the little slight color differences of the different threads makes it look so realistic. So I love this one, and I just was going and going, didn't want to stop, didn't want to put it down. So that makes me excited to pick it up next time. And it's not a very big piece. I love these colors and how they blend together to make the brick. So pretty. Highly recommend it. Very summery vibe with the strawberries. Okay, where am I at? Next, Sweet Summer. This was an impulse purchase. I think maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, by Cherry Hill Stitchery. I downloaded this off of Etsy, Sweet Summer. I absolutely love watermelon. Me and Matt have been I'll tell you guys later on life updates, but there's a fruit market by us and we've just been buying watermelon and it's just been so fun. It's one of my favorite things about summer, just the fresh produce that you can get. So when this had this little watermelon motif, I was like, oh, I've got to stitch that. So I am stitching this one on 32 count platinum 2/2. And here's where I got. So I started working on this M. I had, I think, like up to here on the base of the M, and so I just continued on. Simple stitch, the use of color, those pinks, the watermelon. Just a brilliant design. I think it's so fun. I'm definitely planning on making it into a little summery pillow I can put in my kitchen. Just so sweet. Can't say enough good things. Just adorable. Okay, next. This is a fun one. This is another one Amanda inspired me, the Alba Stitcher. This is Ellen Barber, 1895. What a fun stitch. I absolutely love the personality of this little girl using every color of thread she had at her disposal. I love it. It's so bright. It's so cheerful. I have to say that's my vibe. If I was back in the 1800s and had to do a sampler, that's what it would have been, is all the color. So this one I'm stitching on 36 count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit 2/2. And here, oops, got some kind of random pet here. We got a lot of pets in this house. Here is where I got to. So I started working on the numbers. I think I did maybe 3, 4, 5, and a couple of these. It's just so beautiful. Isn't that just glorious with all the rainbow of colors? It's a fun stitch and it goes quick, right? Numbers and letters. It's not like dense stitching. So I really want to get back to this one. I love how small it's going to be. You can find like a little ornate looking tiny frame for it. Oh, I love it so much. And you know, these samplers are so fun because they have, you know, info about either the person who stitched it or the time frame at which they stitched it, what life was like in the country at that time, which is just a fun little history lesson. So got to get back to her. She's so pretty. Okay, next, Good Company. I saw Lisa Smith, who also has an amazing Flosstube. Go check her out. I saw her stitching this, and it's by the Scarlet House. And the saying is, she lives on a hill overlooking the sea with only her dogs for good company. She doesn't need less, she doesn't need more than to hear the waves crash into the shore. And it's all about the animals. There's dogs and birds and sheep and deer. I just love this. And I love how cozy it is, like thinking of that little woman in her cottage and the sea and the boat. Ah, wouldn't that be a glorious home? Have that kind of view every day. So I am stitching mine on 32 count buttercream, and I did get the silks for this project because it's a big project. I really loved it. First, I'll hold up the fabric so you can see how big. It is a very big project, and I'm using the Belle Soie silks, and I love it. Absolutely beautiful. And here is my progress. So I worked solely on this boat. I finished the bottom of the boat. I think the color is espresso, and then I filled in the sail. And that was just a very relaxing night of stitching. I really wanted to get back to this blue in the waves, but I controlled myself. I got the boat done. These letters up here are over 1, which is why I started and then stopped. Gotta throw those in here and there for me. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece. I absolutely love it. I'm really looking forward to having this one done. Really looking forward to it. Okay, and last but not least is my stamp of the month. So because I did the 31 WIPS in May, no regrets, my monthly series that I've been trying to keep up with this year, which is the Lizzie Kate Flip It Stamp series, that has the monthly stamp design with the 3 little buttons that they provide in the kit. I won't show you the pattern, but they provide the little buttons. So much fun, incorporated into the design. May is my birthday month. I absolutely thought this one was so adorable with the little birds because spring and all the little birds are just so wonderful. So I'm stitching this one on 32 count light mocha, and this is where I got to. That is Deep Sea by WIPS Dye Works. Isn't that just the richest blue? Oh, I love it so much. I really had fun stitching with that color. So I need to catch up on this one because I am behind now. So I'll catch up and do May and then June this month. Look how sweet June is. June might be my favorite. That is just an absolutely adorable design. And these are so nice because they don't take very long. My design plan is this little stand back here that I already have November done on. That's where I'm gonna hang them and display them every month. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've been keeping up with the series with the exception of May, and it's been a lot of fun. So that was my 14. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed stitching each one of them. It's fun. I always love a good WIP parade, and for me in May when I do this, it feels like my own little personal WIP parade because I get to see them all, which is a lot of fun. Okay, let's talk giveaway. So last video, I was giving away A Savior's Praise by the Shakespeare's Peddler, and the comment, I mean, just look at the gloriousness of this. Again, I know this does not give justice to all the beautiful colors that are in this when I look at the floss list. But the keyword here was love. So thank you to everyone who entered. The winner is, whoops, let me hold this better. Stitchy Lynn's 0703. So if you get a hold of me, either in my email, via email, I'll have it in the drop-down box below, or through Instagram, or just leave a comment. I can reach out to you. I'm so excited you won. Stitchy Lynn's commented on my video and broadened my horizons to a phone app called Merlin. I was talking about all the birds in my last video in the spring and how I love listening to them all and how relaxing it is. And she said, hey, do you know about this app? It's from, I think, Cornell University. And you download the app and you sign up. It's completely free. And then when you hear a bird, you hit the button and it listens to it. And it gives you suggestions on which bird it thinks that it is. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been having a good time with that when I'm out in the yard. So thank you for that, and I hope you enjoyed this pattern. I'll get it in the mail to you. Okay, let's talk about life updates. Garden, I will insert some pictures of my garden here. The big changes to my garden this year, I grew English lavender, and that has really been a joy watching it come up. I planted it 2 years ago, and I got these very, very tiny plants. I ordered them over the internet and put them in the ground, and then the next year they were thriving. I mean, they got to a decent size, but this year they actually flowered. And it's been lovely because I go sit outside to water them and I can smell the lavender. And then I have cone flowers. I planted a rock candy flower. I have tiger lilies and phlox and impatiens. So I'll put some pictures here of what my garden's looking at right now. Isn't that gorgeous? It gives me so much peace. I love to sit out there in my chair and water the flowers. I find it very relaxing and just so much fun. Life updates. Lots has been going on, all good things though. We had our patio finished, my back patio, when I had the plumbing done last year. They had to tear up all of the brick pavers. And then they said, you need to let the dirt settle back down into the hole. When they left, it was this huge mound, and I thought, oh my God, that is never going to fit back in that hole. But it did. It did. With rain and time, it settled down into that hole. So I had a great company come out, and they were able to relay the brick pavers that I already had there previously. And so we had our patio back, which was just wonderful. So we've been barbecuing. There's a great fruit market in Michigan called Nino Salvaggio's International Marketplace. And it's just like a farmer's market, like fresh produce. We go every Saturday. We get fresh corn on the cob and watermelon and grapes, and then we sit out and barbecue and enjoy all of it. So it's really been a fun tradition that we've been doing on the weekends. I was able to have my family over, my nieces and my nephew, and I bought a slip and slide. I'll insert a picture of the slip and slide I got here. And so slip and slides when I was little was like the yellow banana tarp. There was nothing fancy. You went flying down that tarp and you ended up in the grass with grass all over you. Nowadays, it has like a little pool at the bottom, you know, with a cushion, and it catches the kids, and they had so much fun just dancing in it and enjoying like the sprinklers that come over the top. They had a blast. Nat cooked a ton of food. We had different kinds of potato salad and hamburgers on the grill and bratwurst, and it was a lot of fun. It was really good to visit with family, and we all just hung out in the backyard. So that was a really good time. It's been hot. It's been so hot in Michigan. I am in my 40s. It is hot. We've had like 90 plus weather this past week specifically. It has just been oppressively hot. I just don't know how you folks who live in the South do it. I would melt. But despite that, I've been getting out there and trying to be just, you know, in the shade a little bit and enjoy the beautiful weather, because it is still, I am still grateful. It is still beautiful. My niece Grace, she had a exciting event. She passed her driver's test and got her permit. You know, I remember when I was younger, everyone's saying, oh, you're growing up so fast, you're growing up so fast. And you're like, yeah, I'm growing up so fast. I get it now. I am not a mom, but I am an aunt. And I feel like it was yesterday I was holding that little baby in my arms. It is unbelievable to me how we're here, how she's driving, how she's getting on the freeway. But she's doing so good. She's doing so good. She's a confident girl, and my sister and brother-in-law have been doing a really good job, you know, driving with her. So that was fun. And then my niece Millie has been playing softball. She is a player. Oh my gosh. We went to a game and she was up to bat, I think 2 times, and she got doubles. No, maybe it was 3 times, and she got doubles every single at bat. And so we just had a blast watching her and cheering her on. It's so much fun to watch her play. So lots of good things. I would appreciate any prayers anyone has for my mother. She is going to have surgery tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15. The poor thing has formed an abscess, and it's been incredibly painful. It came out of the blue. You know, I guess it's something that's pretty common. The doctor said, you know, they need to get in there and drain it, and it's been very painful for her waiting for the surgery. You know, they wanted to wait a little bit. They drained it the first time. They wanted to wait a little bit and then go in and do the surgery, but she's just been, poor thing, she's just been going through it. So prayers are appreciated for her. I know everything's going to be good, and she's going to be on the mend. And then in 2 weeks from today, we are going to Silver Lake, Michigan on a family trip. So I rented a beautiful little Airbnb, and it's got a wraparound porch with couches and stuff that I'm super excited about. You know, not couches, but, you know, like wicker furniture with the lawn furniture pads on it, and it just looks so cozy and relaxing. We're gonna go to Michigan Adventure Amusement Park with my niece and nephew, which will be fun to watch them. There's an amazing water park there. So looking forward to some time off. Work has been very intense, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But hoping Mom will be feeling well and she can just relax and recoup, and we can spend some time together on that trip. So fun. Okay, let's do the happy card. We are on number 25. I am worry-free. Ooh, I am not worry-free. I release worry over things I cannot control. Instead, I choose to focus on things that are pleasing to me. When I release worry, I allow room for solutions to enter my life. I am worry-free. Ooh, boy, is that a card I need to work on. I am a worrier. I worry about my family and their health. I worry about my animals' health. I worry, you know, I think all of us do, right? I mean, everyone's got stuff on their mind all the time. So this is a very good reminder to me. And I have said that to myself before, like, you know, there's a lot of things we can't control. And we just have to live in the moment and enjoy the moments that we've got. And yeah, this is when I might leave out and keep reminding myself. So join me and let's try to be worry-free. Let's try harder to be worry-free and just worry about the things we can control and not the things we can't. That's a very good reminder. So thanks for stopping by and visiting with me, guys. I'm so grateful when you leave comments and I get to interact and know you all a little bit better. I know, you know, a lot of times we don't meet in person. I hope to meet you guys at a Stitchy retreat someday. But I do this Flosstube because I do like to connect with everyone because you guys are, you know, Stitchers like me and we all have the same passion, and I think that's a really special bond. So until next time, I will be back in a couple weeks. I'm going to do another Flosstube after I return from my vacation. So I'll have pictures for you that I can share of the beautiful west side of Michigan. Silver Lake is, it's literally on the west coast of Michigan, and it's this beautiful area that has, now the west coast of Michigan has a ton of sand anyway. Like the Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes is something you've probably heard of, even if you don't live in Michigan, but I think Good Morning America rated it like in the top 5 of most beautiful places in the United States. So you'll have to check it out. But this is a little south of that area, and there's even more sand there. And we took a dune ride, and they told us the history behind why there's so much sand. There was a logging community there early on, and they stripped the land of the trees. And because of that, the sand took over because there was no vegetation to hold it in place. There was no, you know, the grasses and the trees and everything. So they actually have homes that have been covered by sand out there. These dunes are huge. They take you on a, you know, you can get on this, it's like an open, like think of a Bronco with no top and like 4 or 5 benches of seats, and they drive you on with these big sand tires, and it's a ton of fun. It really is. But they're like, there's houses below us right now, which is crazy to think about, right? That over time that much sand has accumulated. So it's kind of a man-made thing in a way, but like I said, there is a lot of sand on the west side of Michigan, which I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a good time and just relax. I hope you have a wonderful July 4th. I hope you spend time with family or just relax, whatever, you know, whatever you've got planned. I hope it's rejuvenating for you, and stitching, of course. So until next time, thanks for joining, guys. Bye.